Wonder. Hello, Terry. How are you doing? How was your day? That's good. Did you get out? Were you able to get outside? Are you living here in the US? Where are you at? Oh, good. I like that. Full of goodness. Oh, okay, you're Pacific Northwest. All right. I'm in Seattle, so yep. I live up in Everett area. So yesterday was really nice. Oh, you're in Portland. Okay. Got a couple friends in Portland. Today was nice. It's just a little bit colder today, but well, you jumped on quick. What were you already surfing YouTube or? Yes, every weather. That's true. It does. That's the nature of the Pacific Northwest. I feel like you're right. Just always fluctuating. And now, have you been a YouTube? Have you been a subscriber for a while? Usually, most of the people at this point have, just because I don't really post videos. Oh, that's great. I figured a lot of the people who jump on have been subscribers for years. I think the last time I went live, it was or one of the previous times was strange because one of the people had said uh, they had first seen me when they were 15 years old, and they're now 28. So I definitely felt old, older. It was a moment of it was funny, is what it was. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, yes, I've been posting videos to YouTube many years ago. So one of the things I've been doing to pass the time and to help, because I don't know if you know, I'm sure you do. A lot of people do. As I have narcolepsy, and so things have been a little bit challenging. So I've been getting back into carving. So I have this. I've been working on this griffin, which I'm now sanding down in hopes of finally getting it to my youngest brother. Supposed to give it to him about 3 years ago. So what are you doing to pass the time? You got any hobbies you're doing? Are you hanging out with family, or is it just you? Are you playing video games? Netflix binge watching? I mean, Oh wow, that is really good. You got that list down. Drawing, reading, praying. You do live streams. Okay, so I am curious now. Wait, are we friends on Facebook or what's your YouTube channel? Like when you do live streams, what are you talking about? There's no nuclear night. I wish, unfortunately, like even YouTubers, I should know. There's like, I wish I knew. I remember. I don't remember, unfortunately. Been studying Latin. That sounds so cool. That'd be a good. What kind of drawing have you been doing? Are you do like animals, plants, people? Well, Terry, here's the thing is like people have there's been a couple folks that have, over the years they were like, "Oh, I was over, it's like I years ago I was so mean." And the thing is that's the good thing with the narcolepsy is I suppose um I don't always keep track of stuff like that. So, if someone treated me awfully, uh there's a really slim chance I'm going to remember unless it was just like a constant. And there's only a couple people where I vividly remember, like, oh my goodness, they were really mean. And that's only because I actually talked with them like over Skype or something. And even then, though, I've learned over the years you can't hold on to stuff like that. You got to give room for people to change. Oh, that's good. That's good. Colored pencils, spring fairies. That sounds. I need to. I like that idea of. I love. I love coloring. I haven't done it recently, but keto. So I started keto probably about I don't know a month and a half ago, and I started it because well I've been dealing with the narcolepsy, and some people in this narcolepsy Facebook group had recommended keto as a way to help uh, reduce some of the mental fogginess that goes along with narcolepsy. So I was like, okay, well, at this point, I might as well give it a shot because I'm currently not taking any of the medication because I've gone through all of the ones that were available, and the side effects are have been let's just say problematic. So I had to stop taking all the medication, which has left me without a job. So I'm very grateful. I have a very supportive, loving family that I live with. My mom, especially my, my mom and stepdad. So, are you living with family? Is it just you? You got how long you been studying Latin for? Yeah, prayers appreciated always. Always grateful for the prayers. But the thing is, I've learned, and that's what I like about what you first said there. You said it was full of goodness. I love that. I've been working on my grateful journal where I write down things I'm grateful for, and I try to do it. Maybe I should do it every day, but a couple times a week. I just love that everyone's suffering. We all got our journey. We all got our stuff. We're all getting older. So you just gotta find something. We gotta find the good stuff to sort of focus on and talk about. Well, of course, it's important for us to acknowledge our weaknesses too, acknowledge our struggles, but beyond acknowledging them, acknowledge them, pray about it, do what you can, but you don't want it to sort of consume you. You're independent. Okay. Do you have any animals in? That's that's good. A cat. I'm a. I prefer dogs, but cats are okay. It depends on the type of cat. Some cats, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting like a Sphinx cat, I think is what it's called. It's like I guess it's one of the more intelligent, almost like a dog type of cat. We chose, oh, was he like a stray cat or something that you found, or he found you? She found you? Omega Hunter, hello. Good evening. A feral kitten. Now you're gonna have to remind me what the word feral means. Is that like sort of like a mixture, like a mutt kitten type of thing? Like a I know I should know, but oh, Sean, you're the one that asked about the keto stuff. I just now noticed that. Um, I don't, as a general, I don't fast very often. I mean, part of being Orthodox Christian is there are a lot of fasts, but they're usually partial fasts. Um, Usually, what happens though, like today, for example, was sort of a tough day, uh, and as a result, my appetite, I just lose my appetite almost entirely, and I'm just the narcolepsy hits, and I'm just sort of I move very slowly, I talk very slowly, and um, it's not a very pleasant state to be in. So no, I don't fast. I mean, not consistently, that's for sure. But I've been doing the keto for, like I said, almost a month and a half, 2 months now, and I check my keto. I have a blood thing. I check it about every other day in the morning at the same time. And I'm actually right now, I'm not actually in full ketosis. I'm like at point 0.9. I've never gotten beyond the point 0.9. So I need to, I'm curious, when if I was to get to the 1.5 category. Okay, semi wild. So Terry, is he friendly then, or is he very independent? Where he's like, I mean, he's friendly to you, I'm guessing. I mean, for a feral cat to pick somebody is actually pretty impressive because feral cats can be some rough cats. Need to find some better sandpaper. And does narcolepsy give you insomnia when trying to sleep? Nope. Trying to be awake. Um, a lot of people with narcolepsy do struggle with sleeping at night, um, because our mind's in a frequent state of sleepiness throughout the day constantly already. So it definitely messes up the sleep pattern. So consistency. So taking naps during the day is really important. So I don't really have insomnia per se. I have a Fitbit watch and I monitor how many hours of sleep I get every night. So I'm usually averaging about 7 hours of sleep right now, and fairly healthy sleep. The challenge with folks with narcolepsy, so even though we get like 7, 8, 9 hours sleep, however many hours, we wake up and of course we still feel tired. So that's a problem. Um, yeah, that's one of the challenges. So, well, that's good. A feral cat that loves people. That's really good. I remember when I was a security guard and I found a bunch of some cats that were out by the garbage and some kittens. And the mother was, it was an awful situation. I was like, I was thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to try to help. And I tried to grab some of the kittens, thinking that because they were living in the garbage can. It's like one of those big ones. And that little kitten, like, bit right through my gloves I had on. And I was like, okay, I'm not messing. I tried. Yeah, Sean, that is one of the things is the veggies. Um, Trying to find that balance between the veggies and the protein and reducing those. So, because every morning I'll make a smoothie that's high fat, but I'll put in 2 cups of spinach, which spinach is a good keto, but at night or for dinner, I'll definitely have another vegetable. So, yeah. Folks, you're gonna pardon me for one quick second. I need to grab something to drink. And so I will. What's the existential angst? I was partially being funny, uh, partially. Uh, oh, it's Sign. Seinfeld fan? Is that what it is? Sign. I'm guessing. Yeah, it is tea time. You know what? I'm grateful. I'm grateful you guys are there. I mean, it's a weird thing, but uh, being able to just see folks and the text and hear what's going on with you guys, and it's it's a helpful form of conversation for me sometimes. So okay, so I'm gonna go get something to drink. I'll be right back. Yes, we do. We need to be social even during the pandemic. Absolutely. I mean, I live with my mom, my stepdad, my brother, his wife, my two nephews. So there's plenty of folks around. But I'm sure some of you know how it can be with family too. It's it's just good to, although I will say it's a huge blessing to be with family, especially because of my condition. So absolutely, Terry. Yep, absolutely, I agree. Yes. I absolutely love my family. Sometimes, like, family has a way of pushing buttons that you never thought could be pushed. Uh, but it's it's a learning moment, that's for sure. I mean, I think of it like this too. A lot of the videos that I posted over the years, I never would have even thought about posting were it not for dealing with the drama of family. You know, I mean, the things I think about are because of the struggles with family and communication and healthy boundaries and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely, being stuck with other people can certainly create some tension. It, that said, I feel like it definitely depends, like, on. Okay, so I feel like this is why it's like for me, an ideal situation would be everyone's sort of on the same page, right? For example, everyone's sort of reading the same book that sort of talks about healthy boundaries or healthy communication. And so what it does is it creates this environment where everybody is striving and struggling together to work on themselves. So that's the ideal situation. Of course, unfortunately, there's just so many distractions, and everyone's in a different place in their journey. And so it's not easy to sort of have something like that where everyone's interested in having something that helps provide them with guidance on how to be a better human, I guess. I don't know how. It's, so, um, if you're, if there are things that can bring us together, and I guess my biggest thing is with family and wherever is we need to be respectful of each other. We shouldn't be calling each other names. We shouldn't be yelling at each other. We're all adults. And so there's certain things that for me are a big no-no. So of course we can disagree. We can be mad at each other. That's totally fine. But we want to make sure that we do our best not to cross any of those lines where we're demeaning each other. So, and it's not easy, obviously. I mean, because we're human and we have conflict and we struggle with how to cope with it and all that stuff. So, but I feel like when yelling starts happening and people start calling each other names, at that point we just need to everyone needs to step back. Right? Absolutely. If we can do that with our family, then we'll be much more likely to have that sort of patience and healthy communication with other people. So, unfortunately, the feeling is that we are willing to be less compassionate sometimes with our own family, you know. And so we'll go to work, we'll we'll deal with customers and try to put on the smiley face, and then when we get home, we have sometimes not very much emotional energy to give anymore, and so that can obviously create challenges too. Oh yeah, Sign. I'm sure that would definitely be. Whenever you're dealing with mental health issues, not easy. I mean, I have narcolepsy, so it's a neurological disorder, and but because of that, my mind's in that state of sleepiness like almost all the time, and so that it affects my communication, it affects my relationship with other people. So yeah, and with someone who's bipolar or dealing with some other mental health issues, the biggest, I don't know. So I worked at a homeless shelter for about 7 months. I just had to step down about a month ago. But when I was at the homeless shelter, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of people struggling with mental health issues, in addition to addiction issues. And I think the one thing that I was reminded of when I was there is how important it was to be patient, because a lot of times when people are dealing with certain mental health issues, they're already dealing with a lot of guilt and shame, and they're struggling with who they are already and feeling like maybe they're a burden. So trying to be trying to see the positive in everybody, in your family, and trying to find small ways to encourage them, I think is really, really important, especially if they're dealing with things like depression, and it's not easy. So may the Lord have mercy on your family, and may He have mercy on everyone struggling with mental health issues. That's one of my I know what it's like, and it's very difficult. I mean, if I turned my camera on 2 hours ago, um, I wouldn't be able to talk very well, and I felt very, you know, stuck in my head. And then all of a sudden, I started carving, and about an hour passes by, and then it's like this switch in my brain that says, okay, you're a little bit more mentally alert now. So being around people to help, and it's difficult because, of course, I'm sure you've got your own stuff you're dealing with, right, Sign? So when you got your own stuff you're dealing with, sometimes you may not, you get to these moments where you're trying to deal with your own stuff in your own life. And that's where I feel like having a community around us is so important. Having family, church community, or some sort of community. It doesn't need to be church, if you're not religious. I mean, of course, I'm Orthodox Christian, so for me, that is an absolutely fundamental part of my identity and how I how I frame my suffering. But because how we frame our suffering, and that existential angst that's in the title, that's important. Because when we have that crisis of those feelings of, oh my goodness, I'm living life every day, but I don't know what's going on. Mike, oh my goodness. Mike, oh brother, what the heck? I can't believe you calling me Jack. I haven't. Oh my goodness, Mike, you have not been following my Facebook page. Has it been that long? You have not, brother. It is good to. I'm sorry, folks. Mike is old. I mean, we go back. I don't know if any of you remember the Rational Response Squad. So, anyways, I consider Mike one of my forever friends that we don't really. I don't think we've ever met in real life, but still, you fled Facebook in terror. What happened? Yeah. Oh, we've met over Stickcam and stuff like that. I will say I really am blessed by the friends over the years that from all walks of life. And I don't know, Mike, if you can see, but right here, there she is. There's the your ovation. So a few years ago, I gotta share this story since Mike's here. Um, I was on Facebook and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a guitar. I don't have one." Now, so I post this up, and then Mike. So I was thinking like my Christian friends would be like, "Oh, I have a guitar," and some of them did. But here's the thing: is Mike, who at the time I don't know what his status is now, but at the time he atheist, and Mike was like, "I have a guitar. I want to give it to you." I'm like, "What the heck? We haven't even met in real life." But I mean, we had built a connection, and uh, so he sent me his guitar, and inside of that guitar, he wrote me this letter because Mike was in the Navy, and told me about all the countries that his guitar had been to. I still have the letter, and that's his guitar right there. So it's crazy, right? But that's my. I mean, that was a tremendous blessing, especially at that point in my life. I was struggling. I didn't have any instruments, and I liked music. And uh, Mike wasn't using his guitar. He was like, "Hey, like take it. I want you to have it." It was a blessing. It really. It was one of those moments where it's like, uh, I tell folks is like regardless of what people believe, like we each can be sort of a glimpse of the divine to each other, whether people believe in God or not. Like Mike was a example of God's love for me, especially at that time. I needed some encouragement, and he gave it. So thank you, Mike. I know, right? Rational Response Squad. Oh my goodness. Oh, we could have a whole broadcast talking. Oh my goodness, all the stories about. We're not going to do that though. We are not going to go down the. I mean, it'd be entertaining. There's no doubt. There's so much but we'd have to have different people on for that to make it really, worthwhile. So, okay, I will have to say we have grown. Well, hopefully I think most of us have. Yes. As we've gotten older, you know, the younger generation. I wish they were. I mean, because on all sides, like the younger generation just doesn't seem interested in anything. They're not interested in religion. They're not really into the philosophy as much. I mean, that's sort of a sweeping generalization. Yes, he punched him, right? I mean, that was a long time ago, so I don't know if he did anything more recently than that. But I did hear that Great and Square punched him. So for those of you that may not know, just to give you a brief recap, the Rational Response Squad on YouTube many, many years ago They were known because they started the blasphemy challenge. And the blasphemy challenge where you'd get up on video and you'd say, I don't believe in the Holy Spirit or something. It was and it went viral for a while, and so the Rational Response Squad went big fast. And then there was so much drama surrounding them, but after that, and then they fizzled out. And but it started so much. I mean, so much of YouTube at that time. Oh yeah, before viral was a thing. Like it was ingenious, and they screwed it. It got screwed up. I mean, there was just too much infighting and drama, and I was on the outsides, and I was privy to information just because I had some friends on the inside that told me different things that were going on, and it was crazy. I have to laugh at that now. Oh man! And then Thunderfoot came along, and he. Oh man, those are some. We were a lively bunch back then, right? I mean, it's good to have some zeal in life. Keeps you young. Oh, did you was Fake Sagan on? Did he go live? What do you mean bugged out? I did hear that Fake Sagan became an Orthodox Christian, which I was like, what? I thought that was awesome, of course, because I became Orthodox Christian. So, Brett Keane, oh my goodness, I don't. Oh man, oh, it was. I mean, looking back at that, it just was. I mean, these folks like that group, they were the kings of trolling. Like, I mean, part of me feels like there should be like we could do like a YouTube video just thanking all the I'm saying sarcastic, thanking all these YouTubers for teaching us how to really troll. I mean, oh wow. Look, there was definitely some big time entertainment going on. There was no doubt. Like when you got on YouTube that day, there was something crazy going on in that atheist theist community. Like you just, for better or for worse, you didn't know. You'd be on Stickcam, you'd be in some live video chat, you didn't know what was going on. But it was there. It was exciting. I mean, I guess that's the big. It was definitely an exciting time. Yes, Christopher Anderson. That's right. He claimed to leave the wilderness. Oh, well, that is very. I could see a fake Christopher doing something like that. I mean, and then Orthodox Christianity, there is sort of a. I mean, there definitely is a strong monastic tradition. So there's saints in the church who've gone out to the wilderness, and I don't know. A lot of people I know are talking about the end times and this is God's judgment, and I just don't. I'm There's so many people that have been suffering and struggling, so part of me is just like I don't. And in my previous, when I went live previously earlier in the week, I mentioned it's I feel it's really presumptuous to start making announcements about God's judgment, and like I don't know. I don't know the mind of God. I just have no idea. I know that there's certain truths about God that I believe in, you know. Um, but I I don't I have no idea when what God's judgment looks like or what it would look like. I just know that God wants me to love God and love people, and I can't even get that right. So if I can't get that right, I'm definitely not going to spend much time thinking about whether the book of Revelation is happening right now. So, and then let's see here. The community in general has been taken over toxic. Yeah, yes, yeah. No, Mike. I definitely things. Yeah, the atheist community definitely got strange there. But I think we all. I mean, I saw it coming though. When I was on YouTube, I noticed that things were getting. But it's like a lot of people have mentioned. It's like herding cats. I mean, it's just like evangelical Christianity. It's bound you're going to have 1,000 different flavors. You know what I mean? It's just the nature. Not to mention it's sort of tough to just fashion something around just atheism. Like there's not really much. I mean, there's so much more. You know, so yes, Brett Keane. I've heard Brett Keane was Christian, and I think that's great. I mean, if people are, that's awesome. I've heard, I've had some people that have recently have mentioned that they've become Christian, and I'm like, praise God. I think that's awesome. Life's a journey, so I'm. I think the biggest thing for me is I don't, whether you're Christian, whether you're not. Like, of course, I hope people have a relationship with Christ. I strive in my relationship with Christ, but I also know that I have many friends that um, are atheist or believe in something different, and I love them where they're at. And honestly, I have to try to love everyone where they're at, whether they believe or not. Because to be quite honest, whether they believe or not doesn't really always. Let's just say it this way: I have some very virtuous, non-religious friends that are very virtuous. They're more virtuous than some of my religious friends. So, uh, yeah, I'm meeting about my crisis of faith for lack of a better term. Yeah, Mike, send that to me. Absolutely, I'd love to read that. Absolutely, would love to read that. Coughlin, Coughlin definitely was one of those entertaining, and he was good with the entertainment. Although, I think whether you're atheist or not, or really Christian, I mean, we saw on YouTube how, I mean, a lot of myself included, like you just struggle. I think if you were on YouTube, especially back when everything was going on, uh, I dare say that you probably were struggling with some sort of some mental health issue, self-esteem. I don't, I know that's really, I'm being, I'm being somewhat joking, but somewhat serious when I say that. I just feel like, YouTube can be a very, I mean, even now with me being on it now, right? Like it could be, it can be toxic, right? And it can also be a way for religious people to go and practice their apologetics on people, and which is not really what that's supposed to be about. But Oh yeah, Omega. You're right. I think when people start saying it's the end times, I'm just like, people have been suffering around the world a lot. So just, I feel like whenever it hits America, then all of a sudden it's like, American Christians are like, oh, we are like the best Christians in the world. So if it hits America, it's we're this is the book of Revelation now. I'm like, wait, but it does seem that way, doesn't it? Like when everything, if anything goes bad around the rest of the world, it's like, oh, God's judging them. But if it happens to America, all of a sudden it's like we are now in the book of Revelation, and because we, the Christians in America, are so special to God more than any other. It is somewhat enter, entertaining, funny in an awful sort of way. Oh yeah, we all should be asking questions. Absolutely, asking questions. That's part of being human. Oh, Terry, it does. There was someone when I yeah, I'm not going to get too many details, but there was someone I knew, a coworker at a job I was at, and they were talking about the end times, and they were starting to ask me what I thought about it as an Orthodox Christian, and I told them I don't think about it. She was a little bit taken back because she was like, "What do you mean you don't think about it?" I'm like, "I struggle with just praying. I mean, I struggle with just opening up the Bible and reading that every day. So why the heck am I going to spend my time thinking about the book of Revelation? Like I struggle with just living a holy life. Like I can't even begin to grasp that idea. There's no way I'm going to even begin to like it's almost, and I told her, I was like, it's sort of arrogance, if we're honest. It's the epitome of arrogance when we feel like we can actually open up the book of Revelation and begin telling people what it says as if we're so holy and righteous. I don't know. People seem to have a strange fascination with death. Perhaps it's biological given us to understand better how not to die. Well, that's true. We definitely has. I mean, death is a part of life. Very. It is a very strange part of life, though. I mean, just human life. That's the existential angst part. It's strange. Oh yeah, we definitely do not deal with death very well. We avoid it. Although I will say, in the Orthodox Church, they do not avoid it. Death is talked about all the time, and when someone dies, they actually will bring their body into the middle of the church, and will say prayers over the body, and will read through the book of Psalms overnight. Different people will sign up to read through the book of Psalms, so that it actually becomes a very sort of holistic approach to death and life. It's just part of the circle. Tobias, hello. It has been a long time. Becomes more entertaining. Well, look, Mike, life is entertaining. Like, regardless of whether it's fiction or not, everyone's dealing with some level of myth. Whether you believe in God or not, everyone has something that they believe in to help them deal with the strange mystery of our existence. It is a very strange mystery of our existence, and um, so it makes complete sense. People want to. I'm like, go for it. I mean, what? Of course. I mean, our life is so short. Like, I just I'm like, okay, you're lucky if you make it to 75 years old. That's it. That is, I mean, it really is nothing in the grand scheme of things, especially when you think about how much of those years are actually spent in mental soundness and well-being. Like you're, there's not much going. It's a very short time. So of course we want to find something that's going to help deal with that question of what the heck am I here for? The old times. I know. We just need to. They just need to allow multiple video cameras, and then we can. People can. Then we can have like all of people jumping in, and all of us have to tell them to turn off their mute their microphone, and oh, sign fan. Okay, look, I would say Cobain Thomas. He definitely is far. If you when it comes to theology of Orthodox Christianity, he's the one to he's the one to talk to. He is far more read than I ever will be. I am more of those. I just don't. I focus on simple. He focuses on simple, but he also focuses on the inner workings in a way that I just don't have the capacity to. So we each have our own gifts, and so I would say that if someone was to say is I guess there is a saying in the church that we know who's in the church, like the body of Christ in Orthodox Christianity, but we don't know who's like not in the church, I guess. Like we just so it's not it's a different perspective. So it's not supposed to be said in a way of judgment, really. It is acknowledging a truth that we hold on to, but it never should be something and that truth should never be something that allows for a person to feel entitled to judge other expressions of Christianity. So Bitcoin, that'll be interesting actually. I think I have some Bitcoin still. I remember when the Bitcoin had a little bit of a bump and a bunch of people I didn't think about that. That could be some good advice. Yeah, Omega, I just when it see that's those areas, those are like I would tell people that it's beyond my pay grade. Those discussions are beyond my pay grade. And what I mean by that is I just have never in the context of in my life and where I'm at, it's just too lofty of a conversation for me. I mean, I struggle with going to church myself, and I have narcolepsy. So, my priest, Father Jeremiah, he knows and he's very compassionate and gracious but I feel like because of my situation and my struggles, I'm I'm not going I don't want to be in that position of making pronouncements of judgment. Now the church already has. The church councils have, and we have the canons and the creeds and the saints. But that's the thing. That's what they're there for. It's because they're the ones that help. My job is, it's like Saint Seraphim of Sarov says. acquire the peace of God, and thousands around you will be saved. So I just I just have to strive to acquire the peace of God. That's the biggest thing. Everything else, I'll let the theologians deal with. It's important. It's just things that are beyond my scope of life right now. Maybe in the future, I don't know. Uh, on Discord, what is I don't know what is Discord, Mike? Do I have your phone number? I don't know if I have your phone number or not. Now we didn't we? I think I have you on Skype though. Are you using Skype? We could chat on Skype sometime this week if you're available. Um, Metaphors are used for a reason in Scripture. They speak differently than those who didn't receive it. Thus, the many flavors of Christianity. The beauty of metaphors is definitely they speak to different people in different ways. And it's interesting is that the saints in early Christianity, like that's where discernment, they have that discernment and they will apply it in different ways to different people and circumstances. And that's the beauty of those metaphors. Although we like things to be black and white. And some things are black and white. Although I suspect not as much as we would want. Okay, that'd be great. That would be good. Oh, Stickcam. Oh man, yeah, Stickcam was good. Those were good times. And now Zoom is the thing, I guess. I don't know. I hear everyone talking about Zoom. I used it once, but it's sort of like it seems like a more of a business type of thing. You can't just. Oh yeah, Terry, and That's a very good point. Thanks, Mike. I just got it. I like what you said there, Terry, because when looking at how short life is, it's like, and the time you're right. Like, how much time do you really want to spend in conflict? How much time, versus living life? Of course, part of life is conflict. That's just inevitable. But living in that place of like conflict for the purpose of entertainment, that's where I like how beneficial is that? Incognito. Oh yeah, Tommy from the Bronx. Oh yeah, I like Tommy. Good old Tommy. Amazing atheist. Oh boy. Good old TJ. We go back. Oh, that's cool, Mike. Okay, well I'll look into that. Von Helton, that's right. I think I remember Von Helton. This is curious. The names that you guys are bringing up. I mean, of course, these are some of the big names. So it is. I am intrigued to hear, the names that people sort of remember after all these years. Uh, because our that's just the way our brains are. I mean, our brains we're drawn to these sort of sensationalist, like in Mendom. Like, how the heck could you forget him? I mean, you can, but when you start reminiscing, all of a sudden you're like, there's no way you could forget in Mendom, you know? I mean, there's absolutely no way. I mean, granted, it's great to move on with life and actually live life, but taking a moment to reminisce that's sort of fun. It's good to laugh at some of the craziness. Oh, yoke up. Oh my goodness, that's right. Oh, oh man. Oh wow. I remember when he sent Tommy from the Bronx that he was sending people the metal things that he was making. I mean, they were impressive. Like he was really they were making some pretty impressive stuff, metalworking stuff. I mean, of course, but none of us could ever forget Venom Thing X. I mean, that was just the Venom Thing X was the oh my goodness. Oh man. Oh yeah, did he send you one of the metal sculptures? Oh wow. That is cool. I mean, those things were not I mean, I don't know if the one you got was small, but like that was some serious stuff. I was like, what the heck? Like that dude was I don't know where he's at now, what's going on, but I mean, he's one person I'd be interested to see if because some people you'd see him on there and they'd be so zealous and I'd sit back and I'd be like, all right, you're gonna burn out or something's gonna happen or what? I mean, I don't know. Oh, hair god, I always thank you for the kind words. I mean, I learned a lot from YouTube. I mean, I honest, all the interactions, and in real life, I made several friends, people that were religious, people that were not religious, and some of my really good friends actually now are people I met from YouTube who weren't actually religious at all, but they're people that I trust, people that care about me, and they've shown me Christ love, even though they don't believe in Christ, but that's okay. So, oh, gear up. That's right. It was big. Oh my goodness. I couldn't imagine how much it would cost to send one of those metal sculptures. I mean, just he was yeah, that was just those sculptures were something else. I mean, I didn't know about I mean, I definitely there was a lot going on there, but the sculptures were impressive. Gear Up was oh man, I remember oh that's funny, Gear Up. Oh yeah. I remember just get on, I'd be like, what the heck is going on? It was just such a weird place. Oh man, we had I will say this, like everybody was getting in touch with their entertaining. And, their acting side. It just was something else, that's for sure. Oh yeah, Gear Up was his acting. I mean, the drama he would get in. It was just it was, it was intriguing, to say the least. Oh man, wow. Pastor Mike. Wait, that definitely sounds familiar. Wait, did we send messages back and forth, Mike? Did we ever touch base back in the day? Because it seems to me like we did maybe at some point. I don't remember. There's so much going on back then. It's tough to sort of recall it. Yeah, I thought maybe we had. I mean, I don't know if it was good or bad or what, but which I think is good. I mean, in life, it's good sometimes just to be like, let people on their journey and not hold the past. Like, if you're a good person in the past, great. If you're a bad person in the past, well, that's okay because we have a new moment now for us to figure out how the relationship's going to be moving forward. That's we all are on that journey, trying to figure out who we are. Terry, peace be with you. It was great chatting. Oh yeah, Veritas. That was perhaps one of the most emotionally was the most challenging. I would say for myself, just because had been talking with Noah. We had a good friendship, I would say, at the time. So that was really. But here's the thing: is one of the things I noticed from earlier on when I was on YouTube was I became very concerned about because I saw a pattern. And the pattern I saw when I first started YouTube was these Christians would come on and they would focus on apologetics. And then frequently I noticed that they would actually then not be Christian anymore. So I started asking myself, I'm like, what is going on here? And then I started sort of connecting some things together. And it seemed to me like what was happening was there was this almost a sense of like people were going to face YouTube to sort of convince themselves that like Christianity was true because they were raised up on it. They were told it was true, but they never really engaged with it in a way that made it their own per se. Um, and of course, I'm being very presumptuous here because obviously they did make it their own, but they were trying to figure out like there was a part of them that was like, I want to see if I can argue it and convince other people. And part of me feels like part of whenever someone focuses so much on apologetics, I'm very concerned because the concern is that there's a part of them that is struggling with whether it's true. And so, I mean, it's good to be able to argue and know what you believe, why you believe it. But Christianity is the arguments are very, very small part of Christianity. Like it first and foremost, it has to begin with a life lived. And so one of the things I noticed when I was messaging these Christians on YouTube who were doing the apologetic approach was a lot of them were not going to a church. This brings us back around to what was mentioned earlier. They weren't involved in a church community. So when you looked at these people that, uh, and some of them we've mentioned already, they thought they were beyond the church, and so they were doing their own version of Christianity, their own church, or they felt like they didn't need to go to church, but they were on YouTube trying to make other people Christian. And so it was this very, I would say, unhealthy model of Christianity because, for example, as an Orthodox Christian, I can't be, if like me being on YouTube right now, I talked with my priest, Father Jeremiah, and I'm like, hey, like he has to know what I'm doing because I want to get his blessing, or at least I want him to know. So that way, when I go to him with confession, he can sort of be like, okay, Apollos, like what's going on here? And you know what I'm saying? So that way I'm not just going on and saying a bunch of stuff, but in real life, no one actually knows what's going on in real life. And so then I make myself sort of a celebrity, so to speak, on YouTube as a Christian apologist, but in real life, I'm not actually involved with the church community. I don't actually have accountability. And that's I saw that for so many years on YouTube, deeply concerning. Several friends that became atheist or left Christianity or stopped being involved in Christianity because they just weren't involved in church community to begin with. It was weird. It was interesting to see that dynamic. Oh, you left because of Jeff. Oh, Jeff is Gear Up, right? Is that or it's no? Jeff was a Yoko. I forget which one was Jeff. More religious parent, more hostile religion shall become most of my atheist friends grew up thinking of religion as a boot on the neck. Absolutely, Mike. Yeah, there is a type of religiosity that is, and they've done studies on this. There's a type of religiosity that can be very detrimental. Absolutely, and it's not just. I mean, it's not just the religiosity. Like there's a type of parenting. When parents are too, um, when they're overly protective, it can be a problem. If they're too lenient, it can equally be a problem. So being a parent today, I definitely do not envy parents today. Definitely do not. Jacob came after me in real life. He tagged me because I was a pastor. He contacted my church. Wow. What the heck? Wow. That's crazy. Yep. There you go. That's that YouTube drama right there. Like things got weird. Like there were so many times things got so weird, and you're like, is this like people? You could tell like it's just many of us were struggling with how to approach YouTube in a healthy way, and we didn't have enough accountability. We didn't have enough. I mean, so I'm always, yeah, yeah, exactly. Calling it's a little bit arrogant if you're calling your YouTube channel a ministry, because of, oh, I remember Dora Patan's Mike. You're awful. Oh man. Well, so I was thinking at first I was going to be doing the sanding, but then I decided I'm going to do the grooves for the background. Do you see the difference? So I don't know. Part of me feels like the grooves. I don't know. I actually like the sanded part. What do you like better? Do you like the sanded part better, or do you like the textured part better? Oh my goodness, German. Philos 71. Oh, my old friend Tony. Oh, Tony. Oh man. You like the sanded? Oh my goodness. Textured? Okay, well thank you. Well, at least one pro. You like the text? Okay, good. I need confirmation of sanding it would be more work. So uh me carving in the texture is actually easier than trying to sand it. And it's a little bit more meditative for me. It's more peaceful if because it's very easy to just. You want a gift card from Philos? What the heck? I do like the sanded though. It's just to sand all of the grooves would be really a little bit more difficult. I started this when I was a complete noob to carving, and I thought, oh, someone gave me a piece of cedar wood to carve, and I think that's what this is at least. And cedar wood is just, or at least this piece of wood is not a very good type of wood to carve because it's a softer wood. So my chisels have to be extremely sharp, and because of the way that the grain goes, even though they're extremely sharp chisels, it's difficult to carve into it. So, anyways, this is so I made this griffin for my youngest brother uh, for Christmas. About I was supposed to give it to him for Christmas about 3 years ago. Oh man, that's awful. I'm just now finishing it. I've been working on this an Orthodox Christian. This one's made out of. That's not really that. Not picking it up that well. That it's made out of. This one is a basswood, which is actually a very beautiful type of wood. I love how it sort of shines. And then I have a one that I've been working on, a cherry wood. That I guess I could get it. Give gift cards to the first three to comment. Of course. Okay, I remember Tony Philos 71, like going to his house, traveling down when we did there's like some YouTube Christian gathering where I met up with several Christian Christian YouTubers. One of them was Daniel. I forget his YouTube name. Um, I actually think Yokup was some one of them was there. I think I don't remember, which is I'm totally fine. Like I said, my memory's not that great when it comes to there's pros and cons to that. But anyways, yeah, Tony and I were good friends, but I think just stuff happened and we lost touch, and I don't know what he's doing now. Yeah, that was one of those ones where I actually thought that there's like a good, there was actually a really good friendship, and then just sort of, but that's his life. I still care about him. I mean, and if I ever saw him or if he was ever around, I would absolutely go meet with him. You know, I still consider him a friend. I guess is what I'm saying. But the word friend is, it's different, sort of. I don't know why he left. I remember. Oh, that's. I remember he left so abruptly. That broke my heart. I mean, after with Noah and his journey, and then seeing Philos 71, and it just was. It was definitely one of those things where um, I had to go back, and I was seeing all these Christians that, and then that's when I really realized that there was a lot going on behind the scenes, and that there was a lot of people that were getting on YouTube as Christians that were not really approaching things in a very healthy way. So, Brother John, hello, hello. Brother John, okay, wait, remind me, am I supposed, who is Brother John? Do I know Brother John? Should I know Brother John? I should know, right? I'm probably, and don't take any offense if I don't, because this whole night there's been names that some of them I remember, some of them I don't. Third proverb. Okay, wait. That definitely is. Wait, do you still have your videos up on YouTube? You're gonna have to. That would help me. I don't know if you still have them up though. All right. So what are you guys? What are you all doing to keep yourselves busy? Are you are you drawing? Are you doing art? Are you music? Are you binge watching on Netflix? If so, what? You playing video games? I just I was looking at some peaceful video games on Steam, and someone recommended I check out a couple different ones. I checked out City Skylines, and that was a nice. It's sort of a peaceful game. I like peaceful, calming games. And then I was looking at Animal like Planet Zoo as well. That's a very somewhat relaxing game. Picard. Okay, so I got to ask about Picard. Is that on Netflix or not? Because I think my stepdad said that it's not on Netflix. And in addition to that, is it good? How do you feel that the Church of Christ doesn't worship the cross? There's places that doesn't worship the death of Christ. Um, Here, I don't know what you mean. I think for me, when it comes to like Orthodox Christianity, I feel like the best approach is just inviting someone to join in one of the services, and then when you do that, which now that there are actually a lot of the Orthodox churches are streaming their services live, um, you get a sense of the history and the tradition that's been around for 2,000 years. And to me, that's a better experiencing God in that sort of way is a better approach than trying to sort of break down someone else's beliefs. You know what I mean? Because I think I will say in Orthodox Christianity, it's everything. It's the it's not just the birth of Christ. It's his life. It's the death. It's the resurrection. It's his return. But just it's not even just that. Like there's also the veneration of icons. There's the recognition of the saints. I mean, it's everything. It's not just about um, some sort of out there type of thing. It's about engaging with all of your senses. So that's why we use incense, so it engages the smells. The smoke from the incense engages the sight. Everything has meaning behind it. Going back to the scripture when Paul talks about let our like praise rise up to God as sweet smelling incense, um, and then the icons themselves are they represent, they're reminders of the very presence of God. And so everything, we have holy water, we use oil. I mean, these are all things that are mentioned in the scripture. And so to me, the Orthodox Church and the tradition of Orthodox Christianity is just, it's so much more in touch with what I read in the scripture than any other expression of Christianity, with the exception of Catholicism. But that's because Catholicism and Orthodox Christianity share the first 1,000 years, of history together. Basically, we share a lot of the saints from those first 1,000 years as well. So, lots of walks. Walking is huge. Oh man, that's like getting out, getting some. I don't know if you live like in a city or suburbs, but seeing some nature is really good. Disney Plus. Oh, is that where Picard? It's on Disney Plus. I think my family has Disney Plus. Let's see. You study mostly history and theology primarily. Okay, that's good. History and theology. Those are some weighty topics to be studying, but those are good topics to be studying. Very good topics to be studying. Cooking. Okay. So when you say cooking, you're not baking then, right? Like what? So what kind of cooking? What's your favorite dish to cook, I guess? Working from home, benefits of technology. Well, that's nice. Yeah, working from home is really nice. Oh, lime stew. It's it's but like at first I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting. And it's like it's horrid though. No, well, that's it. You learn as much as you can preparing for the downfall of Western civilization. Mike, what the heck? You sound like an evangelical Christian or an anarchist. I mean, I, I don't know what the heck. But look, I will say, I know I'm sort of like, I'm jokingly saying that, but I'm seeing how things have so quickly changed is rather startling. Like, there's no doubt. Like, it's bizarre. It is. It absolutely is bizarre. CBS. Oh wait, it's on stream, but he's streaming. Oh, okay. Picard is not Star Trek. What? Well, if it's not Star Trek, like what it? Why would I watch it? Is it just like his life after Star Trek? Is that what it is? I mean, I was bringing down beliefs, but how do you feel about their understandings? Oh, I I don't know how I don't. I mean, I guess it's easier for me to talk about my understanding of Orthodox Christianity and why it makes sense to me. Is that so? I mean, okay. So let me try and rephrase it. So if someone came up to me and they're like, "Hey, Apollos, uh, we don't like. Why do you have a cross in the church with Jesus still on it? Like, don't you feel like that's sort of glorifying his death, right?" And I'd be like, No, the reason why we have the cross in the church is because, just like Paul mentions in the Bible, he talks about the cross. The cross is mentioned in the Bible, and it's mentioned in the epistles as well. So suffering is a part of Christianity. That's why we have the cross with Jesus still on it in the church. That said, if you stick around long enough, because every year it's cyclical. So that's the beauty of the Orthodox Church is every month is a new feast. And so every month we're celebrating all these aspects of the life of Christ, of his mother, of the saints. And it all points back to the culmination of when he was crucified. And then there's a time during the church when the cross is actually, Jesus is taken off the cross. And the cross is in the middle of the church with empty because Jesus has risen. So everything is there's a meaning and symbolism behind every single aspect of the church. So I would tell the person to stick around for a year and experience how everything connects together. And so it's not like so the focus is on everything with the goal of helping us to learn how to essentially acquire theosis, that is to commune with God, with Christ, in in the fullness of our life and everything. So, uh, oh, Brother John, like Proverbs. Hmm. Did we talk? Didn't we? Did we talk when we were on YouTube? Because that name, it seems to me like we may have conversed. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember. It's so much went on during those years and different things. So, uh, oh, hair god, I'm still missing it. I know. See, this is where it'd be like live conversation would be so much easier, right? Versus me rambling on, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, what the heck? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Uh, would I go into a church of Christ and say, why don't you have a cross in your church? Okay, well, hopefully I, I know I'm like, I need to pay more attention when I'm reading in the comments. It's great to It's great to talk with you. Peace be with you. It was good. Try and find one of the services that the Orthodox are streaming. If uh, if you go to my Facebook page, I can give you a link there if you're interested. You think when Jesus comes back, he really wants to see the cross? It's like one of the objectives. What? Bill Hicks. Well, that's typical Western mindset mentality. I mean, I get why they say it, but it's just not. It's sort of a very uncultured perspective, I guess. I mean, what do you mean you're not my? Of course, you're not my fan. No, I'm saying if you go to my Facebook page, I can give you the link. My Facebook page is not a fan page. It's like there's just. I mean, I don't really have a fan page. My Facebook page has real friends and YouTube friends who are real friends and a bunch of other people. But what I'm saying is, I could give you at that time that link for the Orthodox services that they stream, so you can maybe watch one. You stream yard, we can chat. That's what you use. We do hangouts on your channel. You stream? Wait, you stream yard. Okay. I need to figure out. See, the challenge with, I mean, what's nice about YouTube is, of course, it just sends out this thing saying, hey, you're live. But what I need to do is post up a video saying, hey, I'm going to do this, schedule a time, and then you're recommending StreamYard as a way to maybe have that. That'd be good, actually. I think that's a good idea. Let me write that down. StreamYard. What makes you think Jesus? I don't. Who thinks Jesus is coming back? Did I say Jesus is coming? I mean, eventually he's coming back. I don't know when. I don't know if he's coming back in my lifetime or what. Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. What do you do for a living? Well, I used to work at a homeless shelter a month ago, but I had to step down, unfortunately. I have narcolepsy with cataplexy. Narcolepsy is your mind's like in a constant state of sleepiness, and about 50% of people with narcolepsy also have what's called cataplexy. Cataplexy is muscle paralysis, which is triggered by strong emotions and pain. So, anyways, let's just say when I was at the homeless shelter, I'd been working there for about 7 months, and I had a severe episode of narcolepsy with cataplexy. And the guys at the shelter ended up calling 911, and they thought I was having a stroke or something, and it was traumatic. They let me out of the emergency room several hours later, but it got me thinking about a lot of things and stuff. So, anyways, and the narcolepsy's been and the cataplexy have both have gotten worse these past couple of years. So, anyways, I stepped down. I didn't really have much of an option, to be honest. So right now, I filed for disability, for food stamps, and just carving, and trying to stay busy as much as I can. But after all this is over, though, I still want to go back to the homeless shelter because I really care about the guys there, and it'll be great to actually see them because I miss them. So, yeah, that was definitely a very difficult decision to make. Oh, 6 people in the room, $20 a month. Okay. Yeah, well, you know what? Everyone has their own struggles. We all have our own struggles, and I live with my family, with tremendous blessing. The fact that we're here chatting right now, the fact that I'm sitting here carving in a room and I have food, and I mean, you know, like there's so much to be grateful for. So much to be grateful for. And everyone has their journey, their struggle. So, but my time working at the homeless shelter I'd worked at a homeless shelter in Boise before, so I was sort of familiar with what was going to, the situation. Of course, every homeless shelter is different, but I love those guys at the shelter. There's some good stories. We joked around because uh, the guys would talk about how they should create like a version of, The Office. So instead of doing like The Office, it would be like a version of The Office, but like with a homeless shelter, because every single day there's so much drama and so many different crazy things going on. Like you had to smile at it. Some of it, you just had to pray, of course, because some of it was very sad. And you had to just pray and let it go. Just let God, because there's literally nothing you could do about it. So, and in the midst of it, love people, be patient with them, don't judge them, no matter whether or not they come in and they give you a machete to hold at the front desk while they eat their dinner. Just take the machete and say hi to him. And then when he leaves, you just don't. It's a place where if you if you do judge, then you just become cynical. And which there were people there that were cynical. Like even the guys that were homeless, some of them were very cynical because they would just judge, and it's like sitting around judging people is just not a very good way to spend our life. Uh, John, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I will tell you this, that I definitely was not concerned. When I left, it was before the whole virus thing happened. And so if anything, my concern is for the guys there, because there's about maybe 100 guys in the shelter, and about 80 of them, 70 of them are laying on the floor on mats that are maybe 2, 3 feet apart from each other. So it's a reminder of how we have a lot, and there's people out there that are struggling and they don't, you know. So, but yeah, I wasn't. I mean, the whole time I was there, and people had pneumonia. We had to call 911 on several times. People had flu, and that's just sort of part of working there. A lot of people sick all the time. 350? No way, Mike. Are you serious? Okay, what's the time frame? What's the time frame for that? Like within the next 6 months, you think? That is a crazy estimation. Call it the shelter. Yes. Call it the shelter. What? Less than a year? Okay. I mean, I think a lot of people sort of have known China's been lying about numbers, and I mean, it is China. China. Oh, yeah. No, I definitely don't trust China. That would be crazy. I mean, if this basically you're saying this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like what's going on right now is just we're not even. Or do you think? Obviously, you're saying, Mike, you think things are going to get much worse. Is that what you're saying? Like, so what's your time frame you're thinking here for? things to get worse. It's like in the next 6 months, we will see like dramatic change. I know that they here in Washington State, they've called in the National Guard to pass out food at food banks. We got about 150 folks from National Guard. But yeah, the economy definitely. I mean, the whole system seems definitely, especially now, very volatile. Extremely. I mean, the wealthier. Yeah. I always have struggled with how people will talk about the poor or the homeless and how they abuse the system. But I've always, like, for me, it's like the people that really abusing the system the most and the worst type of ways are many of the wealthiest people in the country. I mean, that's, yeah, not somebody who's on some welfare check. Like, that person is not the problem as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's a problem, like it's a challenge, but it's not a challenge in a way that's worse than by any means. I mean, the challenge is like greedy CEOs. To me, that's the far greater crime than someone who's on welfare or something. You start to turn the edge into different solutions. Yeah. Oh yeah, that will be a problem. The whole lockdown thing will be definitely a problem. Yeah, definitely need to compare notes. I think that's. I mean, this thing has certainly changed a lot of what's going on. It's changed a lot. Yeah, Tobias. Sorry. Like, yeah, I see your comment now. Sorry. What was it, like, posting like 20 minutes later or something? So speaking of which, I've been on for almost 2 hours now, which is a long time for me. So we could go for another several hours, I'm sure. Well, at least you guys might be able to. So let's end it on this note of what's what are you grateful for today? Tell me what small thing, big thing, doesn't matter thing. What are you grateful for? I'm pulling out my grateful journal here. Write down the date. To the Grateful Journal. What are you guys grateful for today? Uh, I'm grateful to talk with you guys. Chat with YouTube folks. To laugh, get some good smiles, reminisce about the, the good old days. Uh, Felt good to see my friend Mike there. It specifically reminded me about him giving me the guitar and all good memories about people showing love to each other and caring about people. Um, Earlier today, I went outside and the cherry trees are blossoming. That's always beautiful. Really grateful for that. I'm grateful for your mom, your brother, nieces, and nephews, good friend, laughter. Absolutely. Family. Absolutely. Family. I'm grateful for my family, for their support, their love. And even though sometimes they can be a pain in the neck, they always are there. Grateful for seeing your face in a time where I feel extremely isolated from my religious community. Well, Tobias, I'm glad that you could drop by. Yes, those cherry blossoms are. Oh, I can imagine in Japan how those would look. Unbelievably. I'm grateful to be able to carve and to share that with you guys as well. Your encouragement. All right, folks. I will look into. We'll see. I'm going to look into the StreamYard thing that was mentioned earlier, and you all take care. Be grateful every day for something. And I will probably be back maybe tomorrow. I don't know, carving and chatting it up. Oh yeah, those are great things. Eyesight, hearing, touch, things that we don't realize. Like those are amazing things. They really are. Our life, the fact that we're here, is breathing, are beautiful things. They really are. It's good to be able to spend time with you all. So you guys take care. Peace be with you. And maybe I will see you tomorrow night sometime. All right. Good night.